I have spoken to the Supervisor of Elections, and through our constituents' outcry and concerns, I have found an email from Mr. John Fletcher to Eric Marlette, and the concern that I have is that what you see in front of you, it has an attachment of a list of vote-by-mail ballots from the city of DeBary to an outside person. This email was sent on Thursday at 1:47 p.m. on September 20th. The email originated from Karen Spina from the Volusia County Department of Elections, and the list was sent to Mr. Graham. According to our Supervisor of Elections, sharing vote-by-mail ballot information is confidential according to the Florida Statutes, Chapter 97. Next slide. The next slide is an email from Eric Marlette, and it is addressed to, let's go to this next slide. If anybody wants to look at these closely, they can. You can. That email addresses Mr. Ron McLemore and Mr. John Fletcher. It is an invoice for printing of propaganda for information to the voters regarding an upcoming referendum vote. What you see on that slide, go one more before that, Eric. What you see on that slide is the cost of that marketing, and it says produce direct marketing package for the city of DeBary. Let's go to the next slide. This is an email from Roger Van Acker to Scott Chelsea, Eric Marlette, John Fletcher, Chris Carson, and Ron McLemore. What you see here on the right is a copy of what one of our constituents received in the mail. On the attachments to your left, you see that our city staff used city time to help create this marketing. According to the Florida statutes on the next slide, it states that public funds means all monies under the jurisdiction and control of the local government, and no department, no public funds shall be used in communication regarding a referendum and amendment, including any state question that is subject to a vote of the electors. With a heavy heart, I feel that we cannot wait November, December, January, May. And it has come to my attention due to citizen outcry and public records requests that city staff and city manager have given private voter information confirmed by the public records requests and supervisors of election. I cannot phrase a state PAC, Mayor, because according to the supervisor of elections, the recipient was not set up as a PAC at the time. There's a total of 5 city staff hours and city servers and emails used to help the outsider. I have communicated my findings with legal and the supervisor of elections and find that we should replace our city manager immediately for poor judgment, involvement, and outside persuasive tactics for an upcoming referendum vote. I will gladly accept his resignation. I would also like to state that I want to assure the public that I, and I'm sure many other council members may speak up, were unaware of any communication from staff to an outside interest to persuade voters in printing mail propaganda. Okay. I would like consensus from the council beginning the search of a new city manager and require employees to take an online ethics class available this year.
You're out of order. I was going to allow you, extend your time to complete your statement, but you just want to overrule me when I'm slamming the gavel to get your attention.
I think this is a very important matter, Mayor.
You're out of order. Your time was up. I was going to turn around and say your time is up. I'll allow you to turn around and close out on your arguments, okay? That being said, she's asking legal. She's asking, and I don't think it can be done, okay, for us to make a consensus to remove the city manager immediately. In my opinion, as a chair, that would have to be done at a regular meeting or a special meeting of the council.
Well, if there's an action to be taken, it would have to be done at a, then there's her comments made tonight can be talked about, but you cannot act on that as a formal action.
Does that answer your question,
Mayor, if I may, I just want to clarify that I said I would like a consensus from the council to begin the search for a new city manager and require employees to take the online ethics class available this year until we are able to fully discuss and have our city attorney look into the remaining emails that are available sent by numerous constituents. I don't want to wait another moment and lose any time to use our headhunter and the monies that we've already paid in search of a replacement of the city manager.
That is not what you said, but that, I'll go along with it that you're redefining it now and changing it around, but that's not what you said, okay? Okay, that being said, legal, okay? She is looking for some sort of either consensus or she's looking for a direction or an action by this council in reference to this.
Well, you're not going to be able to give direction to the city manager with respect to a particular item.
Okay.
I mean, if you can give your comments, and if you would like to initiate things, you can say, you know, if you want to have this dealt with formally and properly, you need to set it at another meeting.
Well, that's why.
So if you don't want to take action on that, then you don't. But you certainly can give your comments.
And that's why I said about scheduling on November 7th to discuss the PAC issue, because that's mainly what's being presented to us right now. Okay?
Okay.
That's what I made my comments under. But.
Well, that's what you've got pending. So it sounds like that's.
Well, I think it's already been addressed because that's the only time we could do it now.
Right. So you're free to talk about Councilmember Benfield's comments and give your respective comments, but no action on that is appropriate tonight.
So it will be on the agenda November 7th?
Ms. Benfield wants it done immediately. That is what she's asking for.
Well, it's
And
a
I'm
special
saying it
meeting.
can't be done immediately.
But all she wanted was a consensus. We
Can't
take a vote
any
on it?
action on it right now. You can't.
Whether you have it by consensus or a vote, it's just the charter provides no action that's not scheduled on your agenda for a special meeting. So you cannot take the action, any action that's not actually advertised and listed on your agenda. Whether you call it a consensus, whether you call it a vote, it's a council action. Plus, you're going to want to allow the public to make comment if you're actually going to take action on something like that, because the public's entitled to comment on that as well. So.
Today's only the 17th. She could call for a special a meeting before the month's out.
You have to use your microphone.
So she could ask to have a special meeting on it. A special meeting not being on that particular item where we can vote.
I have some comments, Mr. Mayor.
He's going to left, and I'll give it right to you.
Thank you.
He's asking you a question, a legal question.
Yeah, you can schedule a special meeting and set that agenda.
Yeah.
There's nothing to stop the council from doing that.
So,
That's answered your question
yeah.
now?
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Based on a couple of emails that I've received in the last 24 hours, there has been a lot of city business discussed outside of the public view as contemplated in the Florida Sunshine Law. In fact, there appears to be a high likelihood that sunshine violations have occurred. I would caution my fellow council members against any formal action stemming from these discussions outside of our public meetings. Remember that communications utilizing a conduit, whether intentional or inadvertently, constitutes a sunshine violation. For instance, if you have a discussion with a well-meaning citizen and the citizen refers or infers or directly tells another council member what the first council member said, that's a sunshine violation. This is just one of the most difficult elements of our role as a public official in Florida. No fault of our own, we could violate the state constitution on meeting in the sunshine. Because of these concerns, I've often refrained from social media debates, phone discussions, or email exchanges. And Mr. Arterman, I'd like to ask you whether it would be you that would file a complaint with the state attorney's office of a possible violation, or would it be a single council member that would file that violation?
The Ethics Commission is open to anybody. It's typically they're filed by citizens, you could, like, council members, it could be anybody. It doesn't have to be any particular format, or certainly not an attorney, and you don't want to spend the money on a lawyer to do something like that unless there's some direction by council to do something like that.
All right, thank you, sir. I'm done.
Get on the website for the application, and they'll send it to you, and everything, or you can fill it out.
I understand,
Okay?
I know. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Appreciate it.
That being said, okay, we still haven't gotten the issue resolved here, okay?
Can I comment?
Okay. Let's get a comment from the city manager, then we got to come back and make a decision on this, okay?
There's no decision, Mayor.
I'm sorry. Okay, we're going to have to figure out a way on how to correct this so that we can close out this meeting, okay?
You ready?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I just thought that in this country, that an allegation was an allegation. It was not a fact. You've got stuff wrong, what you said. I mean, I understand, all these things have explanations. And my request of you was to give me the opportunity to respond factually to all these allegations. And you're telling me in America you're not going to provide me with that opportunity? Come on. My report will be factual. It will be done in concert with the city attorney. It will address every issue you just brought up. For example, that was not an invoice to the city. It was not an invoice to the city. It was a quote on what it would cost to publish a brochure. The company got it wrong. That was just what it would cost to do a publication. There was no invoice to the city. The city has not spent one penny in regards to that PAC or anything else, to my knowledge. So I think, you know, I don't know. Is this not America again? Where an allegation is an allegation and you have an opportunity to respond? Give me a break, will you? You know that I've spent all this time here to come in and help this city, and I've done everything that was asked of me by this council. All these issues related to that community center were all done by factual resolutions and directives by the city council. There's only a couple of small things here in question that need to be answered, but I'm prepared to do all that. I need an answer.
Mayor, he's asking me a question. May I respond?
You sure can.
As
You are directing the question, right?
As an employer, if my staff used their time that they get paid a salary to work on an activity outside of what is considered city business, then I disagree on the fact that there were public
ask
dollars
what
used.
facts you have?
If I may finish speaking, sir, because you directed the question to me, and with all due respect
I'm
to
doing
the
it.
chair.
The floor is yours.
Thank
Go.
you.
The floor is yours.
The concerns are confidential voter mail ballot information. That's number one. Number two, city staff hours used in help and communication of information, whether it's factual or not, it doesn't matter, okay? And then lastly, we also have the outcry and the concerns of how the material was sent as well. So I feel that at this time, because we know that you're going to be leaving, as you stated, in the public's best interest and the city's best interest, to begin the search now. I'm not stating fire you or anybody else. Just, you have a 2-month severance, right, after your termination date. Therefore, if we begin the search now, we can begin the process and moving forward. And at this time, it is based on legal advice. I did not speak to a constituent or use a conduit, and believe me, bring all the investigations on, because I am clear of anything. This is a email information that I received. I spent 6 hours of research on my own, and I used that information to consult with my legal advisor in the city and the supervisor of elections. No one else No one else told me what to say. This is my findings and based on my experience as an employer. Whatever your reasons were for doing it, I'm open to listening, but facts are facts. Those emails you cannot deny. And that's all I have to say, Mayor.
And that's all I asked for, the opportunity to respond to those things.
And that's what I said at the beginning.